नमस्कार फ्रेंड, आप सभी का एक बार फिर से वेलकम। फ्रेंड्स, वर्ष 2024 नए वर्ष की आप सभी को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। आप स्वस्थ रहें और आनंद पूर्वक रहें, यही हमारी कामना है। फ्रेंड्स, पेंशन अपडेशन के बारे में श्री विश्वनाथ बंदोपाध्याय साहब ने टेक्सास अमेरिका से एक कमेंट, एक एनालिसिस करके भेजा है रिगार्डिंग हमारे पेंशन अपडेशन के बारे में। बैंकर्स पेंशन अपडेशन के बारे में, पेंशन अपडेशन एट ए क्रूशियल जंक्चर। Recently, one retiree activist had a dialogue with the General Secretary of AIBA over phone on updation and the ex gratia issues. However, he was found to be in his usual element and overtly annoyed with the retirees. He was in dire expression of, since the retirees have approached the courts, reiterated that he was not the leader of the retirees, then why he is involved in their matters. This speaks volume about his mindset on the issues of the retirees. Nobody can deliver with half-hearted approach, and that is apparent in his handling of pensioner issues over decades. He lost his cool and disconnected the phone. Thereafter, one another day, the said activist talked to the UFB convener and received the same kind of response from him. He empathetically told the pension updation was not possible because it would require 1 lakh crore rupees, and if agreed, then the entire pension fund would be exhausted. Saying this, he too disconnected the phone. We the retirees know well that IBA, EOBU and DFS unequivocally speak and act against pension updation. They talk of fund constraint, which is the just and imaginary, unauthentic conjecture, baseless because it's without any actuarial valuation. They are continuously harping on this point but are reluctant to go for rechecking their own projection of rupees 95,000 crore purposely. IBA had first convinced this amount and informed DFS in 2018, and DFS instantly accepted this wide internal note, DFS 1819 page 264 and 65. UFB convener now echoed it, adding little more salt, rounding it to full rupees 1 lakh crore. All are on same footing for a common goal. The Minister of State Finance has informed the Parliament on 18 December 23 that there is no provision for pension updation in the pension regulation. Same old story is going on for years. During earlier years, the Minister in charge Finance also said many things in the Parliament against the pension updation as under. Pension is paid to bank employees on the basis of an agreement between the unions and IBA. It is a funded scheme. Pension is paid by the banks from their commercially generated revenues. There is no provision for the pension updation in the pension regulation. Regulation 35(1) was meant for the retirees who retired between 1st January 86 to 31st October 1987 only, and nothing for the subsequent retirees. It is amazing that only to deprive a few lakhs of the bank retirees of their legitimate dues, the government of a welfare state could go to this extent of the distortion of fact. Same way, IBA has told the Supreme Court that there is no provision for updation of pension in the regulation. The ministry has itself nullified their own argument of no provision for updation by approving updation for RBI retirees twice in the same situation. When there is no such provision in their regulation too, their action confirms that there is no need to have a provision for updation but requires only the willingness in the ministry. In such a situation, it's redundant whether the amended Regulation 35(1) provides for the updation or not. In this context, one more point can be cited, that when all of them hold the same view that there is no provision for pension updation, then why IBA appointed a committee to examine its feasibility? So it once again reinforces that having or not having a provision has no bearing on updation. Now, in the MOU of the 7 December 23 between IBA and UFU, it is said in para 5, without prejudice to the demand of the unions association for updation of pension for all retirees, it is agreed that as a one-time measure applicable for the current bipartite joint note period, monthly ex gratia amount will be considered along with the pension by public sector banks to pensioner and the family pensioners. We have the following question to the concerned parties. First, why it is without prejudice to the demand of the unions association for pension updation? If both parties agree, then where is the question for prejudicing their demand? The agreement has set aside the demand when both parties agreed, and that the unions associations have surrendered the demand by accepting ex gratia in lieu of updation. Does the wording without prejudice to the demand has certain hidden fear in the minds of both the parties? If yes, then what is that? Is it the fear of contempt of court in the ongoing court cases? Why then such hide and seek game? Make it transparent that you are afraid of the court case, and any agreement other than updation as prayed for may vitiate the case. Second, both of you agreed for ex gratia for a section of the pre-2002 retirees in 100% DNA utilization matter, but there you have not used the word without prejudice. Why here then? Third, for the pre-1986 retirees, there is a provision for ex gratia, and their ex gratia has been revised from time to time along with the dearness relief. But why in the present MOU, the ex gratia is without DR? Whimsical or calculated? We know it is calculated, but you want to be opaque deliberately. Fourth, you said it is one-time measure for the current bipartite joint note period. Does it mean that you kept a provision for withdrawal, retention, enhancement after the current bipartite period? Fifth, lastly, suppose if you are compelled to update pension by a court order, then whether this ex gratia shall continue till the end of bipartite joint note period? Can or will UFB leaders reply? Retirees friends, it is clear from the turn of events that there is a fear in the minds of the DFS, IBA, UFU of what will come from the courts in the pending cases on the updation. They will mobilize all possible arms and ammunition to jeopardize the case against the retirees. IBA did it in the case of 100% DNA license case and succeeded to mislead the Supreme Court in 2018. That was a miscarriage of the justice, and the pre-2002 retirees had to suffer till this October 23 for reversing the injustice from the apex court. The MC Singla case is scheduled for the hearing in March 24. This case was filed in February 2016, and during this long period, the division bench was reconstituted a number of times because of the retirement of judges of the bench. That's why, though the case is tagged for motion hearing, the present judge of the bench have directed for a full day hearing in March 24, probably to hear it ab initio. The case has now reached the crucial stage. All of us are looking eagerly for a favorable outcome at the end of the ordeal. If the case is won, then the hope for updation will usher it, but if it is lost, then updation will remain a distant dream. On the other hand, the forces hostile to retirees are desperately waiting for the pensioner to lose. God will be for the justice. The case has now reached the Meantime, Let us welcome 2024 for everything good. Vishwanath Bandyopadhyay, Texas, USA, 31st December 23. Friends, everything is clear now. But what is, क्या चाहते हैं UBUIBA नेक्सस? ये आने वाले मीटिंग में ही डिसाइड होना पॉसिबल है. थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स. नमस्कार.